Welcome to another episode here in our Las Vegas Venom expansion draft-only franchise here on NBA 2K26. And today we will really start to get Season 1 rolling. Typically in my series, I like to go relatively quickly here through the first season just because I like to get some rookies onto the team that we can start to get excited about rebuilding. So we're going to go pretty dang far. A lot of simulation in this game. Some of the more interesting box scores, I'll shout them out along the way. But we're going to simulate all the way to December. Mostly because I think for this episode, I want to see our two expansion teams collide for the first time. And it'll give us a lot of data that we can use to make some decisions potentially for next episode with the trade deadline upcoming, who we could look to trade for really both squads for the trade deadline here in Season 1. Not going to really spend a lot of time, like I said, on Season 1. So this is going to be a lot of simulating. We'll get some more information about the upcoming draft class as well. That will likely be previewed in the next episode. I know a lot of you are excited about those draft preview episodes because of the clips that are generated from them. So be on the lookout for that. That'll be coming up soon. But for today's episode, let's get into the simulation. Before we start to sim the games, though, I did want to address a couple of things from the last episode here, and that is that there were a couple of comments surrounding the Kansas City Reign about wanting to have a good scout as well as a good coach to start here. And I'm going to go ahead and do what I did last year in NBA 2K25 when it comes to these two teams and use the exact same scouting information for both. So the Venom scout, whatever he discovers, will be pretty much the information that both teams are going to be running on. That way there's no unfair advantage or anything like that when it comes to scouting, because that's going to be such a big part of the franchise. Here we have Freddie Fox on a 2-year deal. He has the gold hard worker badge. I don't know exactly what this means in terms of his scouting prowess, but it's nice to have a gold badge on our scout. And then additionally for the staff, of course, we took votes on what Albert Ellis's ratings would be. And what won was a 4-star offensive coach with 3-star defensive coaching, as well as having pace and space be his primary scheme, with 7 seconds as a secondary scheme for Albert Ellis. Additionally, I did want to go through here and just go over what the rotation is going to be. I did my best to go and follow what the minutes were suggested in the Google form that I sent out for the Kansas City Reign managers. Overall, the minutes suggested were a little bit high, so I had to go one tier below on a few of these guys, but based on comments, it sounds like people wanted Jovic to play more than Hashimura, so I made that change. He'll be starting here, and these are the minutes we'll be working with here for the entirety of the sim of this episode, of course, unless injuries happen. The Venom will enter the matchup with a record of 7-21 so far through the year. It would not take long to get our first win in franchise history. We'd wait just until night 2, which was the back half of a back-to-back against the Knicks. Not an easy place to get a win, and we did it anyway. Michael Porter Jr. led us with 28 and 7. He was 6 of 10 from beyond the arc. Anthony Simons had another solid scoring night. Wasn't as good of a passer as he was on opening night, but 8 of 19, 3 of 10 from 3. He definitely shot more 3 balls than he did. We also would pick up a win against the Celtics, where Anthony Simons would lead us here. 33 points, 5 assists, 22 and 12, for Michael Porter Jr. The next win we'd pick up would be against the Rockets, getting some wins against some tough teams here. 33 on the board for Simons. So typically us winning has some synergy with him having some big scoring nights. We'd pick up a win against the Suns here. Simons led us in scoring once again, although Miles McBride had a good game. 22 points, 50% off the field, off the bench as well. I did bench him following this game, and following the first game, giving the start to Julian Hawkins, although it doesn't Did that not save? 1 second here. No, it did save. Oh, look. I think I did it at some point in the simulation here. I didn't do it right away. So, anyway. Julian is starting for us now. Not Julian, sorry, Jordan. I mix up Julian Strother and Jordan Hawkins all the time. Anyway, Anthony Simons leads us once again. It's these two at the top in pretty much all of our wins. So we know who we're getting our points production from here when we're successful. Probably getting similar point production when we're not successful as well. But another 30-point outing for Simons in a win. This time, Wagner shows up with 24 and 11 with 3 steals to boot. And another win against the Celtics here. No Jason Tatum, and it looks like it has been a problem here. Now you can see Hawkins in the starting lineup dropped 22 and 5 in this game. So we've got to have some pretty awesome stats here. So let's go ahead and look at the player stats, what they're telling us so far. Anthony Simons is averaging 29 points per game on this team. That is absolutely insane. He's only averaging 3.5 assists, so he's definitely a score-first guard. But he's shooting 46.5% from the field and 37.5% from deep. So that kind of volume on that efficiency on a team of this caliber is kind of insane, if I'm being honest. Michael Porter Jr. is second on the team with 19.7, less than an assist per game. Wagner is the only other player here for our team in double-digit scoring-wise. Hawkins at 8 points per game. McBride the same. 6 for Strother. I mean, where is Ryan Dunn? So Ryan Dunn's only averaging 3 points per game for us despite 28 minutes. I wonder what that's doing for his morale. It looks like it's not totally tanking it. It's only down 1 right now. He's uncertain. If we go ahead and go to the tendencies here, what do we have for Ryan Dunn? So 30 shot, 40 touch. I think I'd like to... So I don't edit shot tendencies or any other tendencies other than touch. I'm going to give him a few more touches. Let's bring that up to 60. Because I think that will give him more than 3 points per game here. Even though, of course, his shot tendency isn't that high. Elsewhere, let's also take a look at the Kansas City Reign. Because I'm facing the 2 expansion teams together, there will not be a Kansas City Reign episode that goes along with it. This will kind of be the episode for both expansion teams. Colin Sexton leads the Kansas City Reign with 19 points per game. Isaiah Quickly, 17, 3, and 4. Both these guards are shooting over 50% from the field and well over 40% from 3 as well. So they are really efficient with what they've done. Jalen Duren, 12.1 rebounds, 12.1 points, 12.8 rebounds. So he is a very reliable interior scorer and rebounder for the team. Bryce Sensabaugh, just under 12 points per game, just under 42% from the field, and 38% from 3. Kispert pouring in 11.5 per game. Rollins, 10, 2, and 4. Rui Hashimura is outraged, and he has dropped a lot of overall. We'll take a look at what the overalls are and how they've gone up or down for these players, because that will kind of determine who this team wants to trade. If there are people that just flat out don't want to be here, it looks like Rui Hashimura might be one of those people. But here's what we are getting from the squad so far this season. Again, now let's go to the roster here. It looks like there is one player, Rui Hashimura. It looks like he has not been a good fit for the Kansas City Reign so far. There will be another post going out soon, despite there not being another episode, that will talk about potential trades you want to make. Now, of course, these are draft-only rebuilds, so the only thing you can really get in a trade is draft picks, because any player that you acquire in a trade, you cannot play. That is the rule of a draft-only rebuild. So trying to get a pick out of Rui Hashimura or any of the other veterans, that'll be up to you guys for your team and up to me for the veterans here on the Venom. With that being said, though, we have the updates that we need. The Kansas City Reign are 8 and 17. heading into the matchup, let's get into the first ever clash of the Las Vegas Venom and the Kansas City Reign in 2K26. And here we are. This is an exciting time. This is also our first look at the Kansas City court, as their first ever game was on the road. Their court is certainly, I believe, the darkest out of any of the, of course, regular courts. There are the NBA Cup courts that are quite colorful now, that have been introduced to the NBA. And this is a really exciting episode for me, of course. Every single time I've done this expansion draft only rebuild, I've always had us go off against the other expansion team, but never has that expansion team been managed by my subscribers, at least not in season 1. We did beta test it last year, but that wasn't until well into the rebuild. But now we're both at the exact same stage, and we can see who, at least for season 1, might have built the better roster. In transition, Nikola Jovic finds some space to lay it in for the game's first basket. He was inserted into the starting lineup at the request of the subscribers. Michael Porter Jr. nearly put up an insane highlight, but the putback dunk was no good. Jalen Williams shuts down Colin Sexton on that drive, swatting away that layup attempt. And now with the shot clock winding down, a step back midi from Isaiah Quickly finds his way to the bottom of the net. MPJ driving, spinning, and scoring with the left hand. A nice move to get himself aboard for the first time. Up top for Jalen Duren. The alley-oop works to perfection for Kansas City. Now the Venom trying to go inside themselves, and Jalen Williams, a nice little slip screen play in transition, and a nice high gather from Anthony Simons. Gets him space to lay it in. Now driving, trying to get space against Jovic. Didn't get any. He was forced to put up a prayer with the shot clock winding down, and he got the call. So headed to the free throw line here. The Venom have their first lead of the ball game. Up 7-6. Now call it 8-6 after Simon sinks them both. From the corner, Duren bounce pass over to Isaiah Quickly, bottom of the net. Stripes one in for 3. Sexton attacking. Deuce McBride just checked into the game and showing off some nice defense there to force the miss. Attacking downhill, Simons finds a man in the corner. Jarris Walker can't get it to go. Inside, nice high pass from Sexton, kept it away from the defense. And Jovic with the finish. Off the Duren screen, Colin Sexton drains another triple. Kansas City Reign on a bit of a run here, 8-0. Pass initially off the hands of Deuce McBride, but then the baseline jumper falls. Halfway through the first quarter, up top for Jovic. He can't finish the play. Going the other way now are the Venom, but it's off the shins of the defense and stolen away. Inside for Sexton, and Deuce McBride with the block. Jalen Williams, he's able to drive inside from the wing and slam it home with 2 hands. Last episode on opening nights, Jalen Williams had a pretty tough matchup in that Dallas front court, but nice to see him showing why I was excited to have him be our starting center. His ability to shoot some, dribble some, pass some, I think is going to help out our offense. Still has a decently tough matchup here with Jalen Duren today, but I don't think quite as tough as that Dallas matchup last episode. As they quickly here to the free throw line. Wagner, the one to hack him on his way to the rim, and they'll give Kansas City back the lead. The team's trading leads here in the quarter, and stepping into the 3 is Anthony Simons. Quickly, pick and roll with Jalen Duren. He's inside the 3-point line and drills the jumper. Rui Guarded by Jarris Walker. Pumps and goes up, hitting the nice post shot inside. Pick and roll again. Quickly this time. Drops it off to Hashimura. Needs to get something going this Reign offense, and they find a wide open Sexton top of the key for another 3-ball. Simons, decent look. Not able to convert another one. Running the other way. Jalen Duran gets the feet inside and spins his way to another basket. Sexton. Time winding down in the first. Forced to pass it around, and Jalen Duran will hoist up a prayer of a 3. No good, of course. So 25-18 after the first quarter. The Kansas City Reign are in the lead, and they'll add to it here with a Rui Hashimura slam to begin the second period. Reign once again with the basketball here, and Vucevic gliding to the rim for the easy slam. This time a nice off-ball action for Michael Porter Jr. Gets him an easy layup. Would like to get him going in this game. Low post, spinning. Vucevic did a nice job getting all the way to the baskets. They post him up once more. This time the double comes. Good ball movement by the Reign leads to a wide open Rui Hashimura 3. A similar action that we saw before from the Venom, and a similar result. This time adding in the foul to the Michael Porter Jr. layup, and he converts the 3-point opportunity. Sexton tries to go inside to Jovic, but Michael Porter Jr. was there, and in transition, Wagner showing some touch, laying it up through the contact, and he also will convert the 3-point play. The Venom needed a little bit of something to go right for them here in the second, as Kansas City had built up a double-digit lead, and they're starting to get to the free throw line with some regularity here, as Wagner is headed back there for a second time in the court. He's now 2 for 2 from the charity stripe, as Ryan Rollins will check in for Colin Sexton at this juncture. Wagner will not quite convert the second one. Flirted with the rim for a while, but decided not to go in. Vucevic has had some success in the post. This time draws a foul. So Kansas City now getting to the free throw strive. Vooch will hit the first of 2 and hits the second as well. Make it 36-27 in favor of the Kansas City Reign. Pippen swings to Jordan Hawkins. He's one of our best shooters, but he can't get that one to fall. The double comes for Vooch in the post. Jovic wide open from 3, showing why the Kansas City Reign took him so high in the expansion draft. MPJ with a responsive bounce. No good there. Wagner in the post. Good ball movement by the Venom leads to a Scottie Pippen Jr. wide open 3-ball. MPJ getting a nice look in that short mid-range area. We've run that off-ball action for him a few times, and we've gotten some good success from it as Clark misses the 3. Scottie Pippen to Jalen Clark to MPJ. Gets another look from deep this time. He makes the most of it. We've got ourselves a 4-point ball game. I said in the last episode that I am working on my sliders as MPJ makes another basket count there down low. And I am still working on it. I feel like I'm closer to kind of the result that I'm wanting. But I still feel like the offense needs a little bit of a boost, as we see both teams still in the 30s at this point in the ballgame. We'd like to see them at least kind of in the low to mid 40s at this point. But we're getting closer to the point where I can share the sliders that I plan to use for the beginning of this rebuild. Jalen Duran gets a nice two-handed flush inside. Simons rejects the Ryan Dunn screen and gets it to go from the corner. He's been up and down this half. He's made some nice baskets, but what you haven't seen is some of his misses, which have been a problem for him here. Down by 4, the Venom cut that lead in half with another Anthony Simons jumper. As I showed in the beginning of the episode, this Venom team kind of goes as Simons goes. So we're going to need him to continue to ball out. Not a good pass there from Ryan Dunn. It's stolen away by the Venom. And a bad foul in transition as well. Jalen Duren earns himself a pair of free throw attempts. Not the best at shooting them, but he hits the first and misses the second. Probably about the expected result. Going inside into traffic and finding some angle to get the lay-in is Jalen Williams. Simons in the corner, guarded by Max Christie. He's shutting him down. Down to 3 seconds left on the shot clock. MPJ from the corner is having himself a great first half. 17 on the board for number 17, who then comes back and gets a nice steal. Rain needs something to go here. The second quarter nearly finished, and the Venom will have the last attempt at a shot here. It's going to be a deep three from Simons. He put a little too much mustard on the ball, so it is a 47 tie. Heading into the halftime break, this is going to come down to the second half. Quickly leads the Rain in scoring, and then 3 players tied with 7 after him. So a pretty well-rounded effort from this Kansas City squad. Meanwhile, on the Las Vegas side, there are 2 in double figures. Simons, 12 points, but on 12 shots, and MPJ has been the best scoring threat for the team by a wide margin as we head into the third quarter. Sexton blows by his man, gets to the basket, and starts the second half in style for the Rain. Driving in, gets some space, but unable to convert is Simons, but Williams there to clean up the glass. Simons trying to get by Bryce Sensabaugh, but using his strength and forcing the miss on that attempt. Anthony Simons 0 for 2 after going just 4 for 12 in the first half. Jovic had a great look at 3, but could not convert it. Dunn in the post. We haven't seen much from him offensively, and he'll get his chances, first points of the game here at the free throw line. Not sure posting him up is really the most productive thing we can do on offense, but hey, we're going to get some points out of it as he will hit both of his free throw attempts. Quickly with the ball, finds Jalen Duren in the pick and roll. Nice 2-man game there from Kansas City. In the corner, Simons gets a screen, pulls up from the deep mid-range. Nothing but net on that jumper. He gets himself going in the third. Euro step, quickly finishes inside. On the response, regaining the 2-point lead here for Kansas City. Simons forced to take a shot from the corner. No good there. A great high pass from Sensabaugh, and Jovic fading away on the inside for the basket. E.2. MPJ finds a wide open Jordan Hawkins. That's the kind of shot we need him to hit if he's going to stay in the starting lineup. Nearly stolen away by Ryan Dunn. Instead, it's a Jovic slam. Anthony Simons finds Wagner on the inside for the easy pick and roll basket. In isolation, step back, quickly gets the better of Scottie Pippen Jr. On the inbound, McBride has it in the corner. He's going against Colin Sexton, gets by him, and finishes with his right at the basket. We're halfway through the third quarter now, and Sensabaugh has a great look from 3. Could not get it to drop. Barnes to the basket, blocked away by Jalen Duren, showing off the athleticism to make a stop defensively. Sensabaugh driving inside on Harrison Barnes, and one opportunity for the youngster who does make his opportunity count. Driving quickly, missing. The rebound goes to Wagner. The Venom the other way. Inside for Michael Porter, who gets another chance here at the free throw line. No points yet so far in the third quarter, and there's not going to be one there on that fourth free throw, but he does split it quickly. Inside, Scottie Pippen this time gets him to bite on a pump fake, and now is headed to the free throw line. Quickly put him up to 17 points for the outing. Barnes in the post going against Bryce Sensabaugh. The pump, the step through, and the make on the interior. Just 58 points for the Venom so far, and we are well into the third quarter, and Jovic on the other end getting a slam. He's got a lot of nice opportunities on the inside. That's stolen away by Wagner. The Venom trying to find a man on the other end, and it's stolen right back by the Rain. Fader in the post by Barnes. That's the second time he's scored through his post game here in the third. Bad pass picked off by Deuce McBride. Inside, Scottie Pippen Jr. turns around and hits the easy interior shot. A lot of really greedy passes here that are getting picked off on both sides, and this time it results in a Jovic layup. He continues to get some nice interior opportunities in this game. Screen and roll for McBride, dribbling into a mid-range jumper that he hits. Once again, it's McBride. Very similar look as last time, but can't go 2 for 2. Now we're looking at the final seconds of the third quarter. A wide open three is missed, but we get an extra opportunity and miss it again. Down to 5 seconds left here in the third quarter. Corey Kispert coming off injury, finds Rui Hashimura, who can't drill the three, but the Rain will take a 4-point lead here into the fourth quarter. Simons from the mid-range fires over Nikola Vucevic and fires. Definitely, that'd be insane if you got Nikola Jokic in an expansion draft. Headed to the line is Colin Sexton. Some nice aggressiveness there to get to the basket. Unfortunately, could not get his first of 2 free throws to go, but he can get a split. Jarris Walker, a good look from the corner. Makes it a 2-point ball game here. Under 10 minutes remaining. Max Christie, a pull-up jumper, falls for him. Anferny from deep, a good late contest from Colin Sexton. This time Ryan Dunn gets a good look. He hadn't had many shooting opportunities in this game, and certainly not a reliable shooter yet. Anferny, step back, good look, but another miss. He cannot find his jump shot in the fourth quarter, and that's partly why the Venom are starting to fall behind now by 9 points here. Christie gets a double screen, attacking downhill off of it, and cannot finish with the left. Dunn trying to find Wagner, and that's a couple of bad passes by him in this game. Vucevic is able to get the and one on the other end. Wasn't clean, but it doesn't matter. Vooch with a 3-point play, extending the Rain's lead to 12 quickly. No good, but Vooch putting some work in down low. Under 7 minutes now. Simons needs to get going in the fourth, and finally getting aggressive, going to the basket. Works for him. Vooch backing down Jalen Williams. Spinning, firing, and hitting. He has been on fire here to start the fourth. Simons, pull-up mid-range jumper, and another miss from him. Just too many misses from Anthony Simons. If he's not cooking, this offense honestly just unfortunately has very little to turn to. We have gotten a good game here from Michael Porter Jr., but we kind of just need Anthony Simons. We don't really have a plan B when he is missing. That was a nice block there on that play, but a Colin Sexton 3 here pretty much ends all hope for a comeback for the Venom, and they'll eventually lose 106-82. The offense was not good enough for the Venom, and again, I will be continuing to slightly adjust. I still feel like points are a little too low for what I'm looking for. 82, even for a team that's not very talented. I'd expect, bad teams to still maybe come in the 90s at the minimum. And I'd want, good teams, not saying that the Reign are good, but I want them to come maybe into the 110s to 120s if they have a good night. The player of the game is Colin Sexton for the Kansas City Reign. I think their backcourt played pretty well, although maybe the shooting numbers weren't great. I think Quickly had a nice double-double. On our side, Michael Porter Jr. was easily our best player. But as this game concludes, as does this episode, I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back soon exploring the trade deadline and the draft preview. That episode will be coming out soon, and I'll see you then. Fangs out.